Out at work today, I'm about to stress you out a little bit more. So go ahead and grab your cocktail as we discuss the top 5 craziest family laws or laws that affect family law cases that always have me picking up my client's jaw from off the ground. And I am an attorney in Texas, so you know this is about to be a wild ride. Coming in at number 5, and let's just use this as an example, the child lives with mom and dad is on child support. Your child support could decrease if dad continues to have more children. So let's just say you and your ex are no longer together, you share one child, and he pays child support. Say a year later, he gets into another relationship, and him and the new woman decide to have a kid together. Guess what? He can petition the court to lower your child support now that he has another child to support. And no, he doesn't have to be on child support for the new child. The child just has to be born. But there's pros and cons to all these different laws in every state. At least in Texas, if you get married, your spouse's income is not determined for child support. Coming in at number 4, if I had $1 for every time a parent complained to me about the other parent not following the visitation schedule and not seeing their child according to the order. Visitation in Texas is not a duty, it's a right. So the parent that's on visitation does not have the duty to see their kid. They don't have to see them. They have the right to see their kid, not the duty, so that means it's up to them. So if they don't want to come see their kid, by law, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just looked at as they're just not exercising their right. However, if they do decide to exercise their right to their visitation schedule, you better not interfere. Because if they are following the order, attempting to exercise their visitation, and you infringe on that, guess who is in trouble? And this is such a hard concept for my clients to wrap their head around sometimes. No, he will not get in trouble for not coming to visit his kids. However, if he tries to come visit his kids and you stop him, you in trouble. So what do you do in this situation? Well, it just depends on the facts. You should definitely consult with the awesome family law attorney to see if you have grounds to modify that visitation schedule, especially if the other parent's not using it. And sidebar, y'all gonna let these people in the comments get y'all in trouble. Because I've been seeing people say, like, at a certain age, the child can refuse to follow the order and not have to go visit the other parent. Don't end up in jail. I can't speak for any other state, but don't try that in Texas. If the child is refusing to go to the other parent's house for whatever reason, consult with the family law attorney so you can go about the proper channels of getting that fixed, or you might just end up in the clanker. And I say this with love because this is real and I have done it. You don't want me to go bailiff? Get the handcuffs. Coming in at number 3, if you're going through a divorce and you find yourself spinning the block, and you find yourself pregnant by your soon-to-be ex-husband, well, just come on and get comfortable right next to me because we're going to be here for a while. Yes, it's true, the courts will not grant your divorce if you are pregnant. And there's many reasons why. One being that Texas is still a conservative state and the sanctity of marriage is very important here. We don't even have legal separation. At the end of the day, this is a child born within the covenant of this marriage, and Texas is not about to bastardize this child because y'all two want to go play hooky. And you can still file for divorce while pregnant and even have some proceedings. Let's say if there's domestic violence going on, the court will still have a hearing to determine if they're going to issue a protective order. Or let's say y'all in the house fighting and carrying on, the kids all scared, the court will have a hearing to determine if one spouse needs to be kicked out the house. Maybe there's an issue of temporary spousal support or temporary custody. That can still all happen. But finalizing your case, granting your divorce, It's the court's job to look out for the best interests of the child, and the court cannot make those decisions unless the court has jurisdiction to do so, and they don't get that jurisdiction until the child is born. So spin the block if you want to. We're gonna be here an extra 9 months. Coming in at number 2, this is so crazy, but Texas has 3 types of fathers: presumed fathers, acknowledged fathers, and adjudicated fathers. Now, I have a video on TikTok where I go in depth about the meaning of these 3, how they differ, etc. For the sake of this video, I only want to touch on one thing. So let's get into it. One of the ways to become a presumed father is by being married to someone. So husband and wife are married, they have a baby. Husband is already the presumed father of this child. And presumed father means that you're automatically this child's legal parent. And this can cause a very big problem, especially for all of you out there who don't like to file for divorce when you don't want to be in your marriage. You just go your separate ways and end up being still legally married 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. Well, guess what? If your wife gets a boyfriend, she ain't seen you in 4 years, and she gets pregnant, guess who's that child's legal father? You. Her little boyfriend can't even sign the birth certificate because the child already has a legal father. You want to know the even scarier part? What if she had a one-night stand? She doesn't even know who her baby daddy is. Guess what? You're going to be responsible for that baby. And a presumed father, that level of responsibility is so high, not even a DNA test can get you off the hook. Yeah, you heard me clearly. This is where you take a big gulp of your cocktail. Maybe get a shot. This is the only way to get out of being someone's presumed father, and now you got to spend money and hire a family law attorney because I know you don't know what you're doing. And that attorney will need to go and file a denial of paternity, do a court-ordered DNA test showing that you were not the child's father. Then after those DNA tests, you have to go bring that child's father to court so that he can take your place now as the legal father. If you don't know who the child's father is, too bad, so sad. That is the only way you can get out of being a presumed father. A DNA test is not enough. Now, I know that just blew y'all hairline back, so go ahead, catch your breath, take a sip. Coming in at number 1, and ladies, this hurts my heart to deliver this news. I'm not trying to put us on the spot. I'm not. I just know that this is something that we do a little bit more often than the men. Brace yourself, clutch your pearls, grab a tissue for the tears. It is now illegal to go through your husband's phone. And this is for every ear that can hear me. This is not just a Texas issue. This is also a federal crime. The Federal Wiretap Act states it is unlawful to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communication. It is also unlawful to disclose the contents of the wire, oral, or electronic communication. Y'all know what's considered electronic communication? Text messages, emails, DMs. And it doesn't matter if you're in a community property state, saying that the phone is community property will not work. Even if your husband willingly gave you his password, it still would not work. The courts feel that even if he did give you the password, you went beyond the scope of what he thought you would reasonably be doing with his phone, such as taking screenshots of a text message that you would eventually use against him in court. I was in court waiting on my turn, watching another hearing before me. It was a divorce case, and the wife was on the stand talking about adultery. Her attorney then started the process of admitting text messages into evidence that showed the husband was talking to this woman, and it was very inappropriate. The text messages 100% proved husband was cheating. There was photos, there was conversations about the other night. All of a sudden, husband lawyer jumps up and says, Your Honor, I think you need to admonish the witness about her Fifth Amendment right to self-incrimination because she's about to tell on herself and admit to a crime. Then he turns ever so slightly and says, I think you might want to tell her lawyer as well because they'll both be in jail together. Judge then proceeds to tell her that how she came about getting those text messages out of her husband's phone is potentially a violation of the Texas Wiretap Act and the Federal Wiretap Act. He looks up at her lawyer and says, Counsel, the fact that you're in possession of unlawful potential wiretap material incriminates you as well. And the judge did a quick recess so everyone could go consult with criminal law attorneys. Somehow you made it to the end of this video without choking. If you are still with us, here's a bonus. Here's an honorable mention. It is also now illegal for you to have air tags on your children if you're in the middle of a custody case. Let me know in the comments which one of these 5 laws had you almost throw your phone on the floor, and I'll see you in the next one. It is also unlawful to disclose the contents of the wire, oral, or electronic communication. Y'all know what's considered electronic communication? Text messages, emails, DMs. And it doesn't matter if you're in a community property state, saying that the phone is community property will not work. Even if your husband willingly gave you his password, it still would not work. The courts feel that even if he did give you the password, you went beyond the scope of what he thought you would reasonably be doing with his phone, such as taking screenshots of a text message that you would eventually use against him in court. I was in court waiting on my turn, watching another hearing before me. It was a divorce case, and the wife was on the stand talking about adultery. Her attorney then started the process of admitting text messages into evidence that showed the husband was talking to this woman, and it was very inappropriate. The text messages 100% proved husband was cheating. There was photos, there was conversations about the other night. All of a sudden, husband lawyer jumps up and says, Your Honor, I think you need to admonish the witness about her Fifth Amendment right to self-incrimination because she's about to tell on herself and admit to a crime. Then he turns ever so slightly and says,